What's up, Carolina fans? You're listening to the Carolina Sports Update on the IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for all that is sports. I seem to be having some technical difficulties. I'm going to try to put them during the ad breaks, but we've got a good show for you. We've got a lot of NCAA tournament talk. We've got the Hurricanes. We've got, there we are. Finally, we've got the Hurricanes. We've got the Hornets. We've got the Browns all playing this weekend. Some great games there. And we're getting into spring sports as well. So make sure you stick around, check out our sponsors, and get back. We will get into all that and maybe a little bit more.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Sorry, I am probably going to have some technical difficulties on this one. Looks like for some reason my signal's pretty bad, so I might be in and out. I typically am. It might be even worse than normal today, but hope you enjoy those sponsors, and want to remind you about our newest sponsor, Raw Nutrition Supplements. You can check them out at getrawnutrition.com. Use our promo code IESR. You can get 10% off there. Some good products there. We'll point that together with that Vital Apparel. A lot of great stuff that you can use in the gym while you're getting healthy and fit. So let's get into it. We've got a good show today. Before I do that, let's talk a little bit some social. Yeah. All right. So be sure to check us out on X at Caroline SPUB _IE, or you can check out my Twitter is UNC Navy 03, both on X. I still call it Twitter from time to time. My apologies there. And then if you like the podcast and you want to support it, or if you think it needs some help and you want to give me some money to make it better, if you think you can help make better with a little bit of cash, that'll help out too. But either way, you can go to that link scrolling below. You can also, if you're on YouTube, click on the link, follow that to the site, and help support the podcast, because as you can tell, my walls are still blank. I need some stuff to hang. All right, let's talk a little bit. Let's start kick it off with Panthers like we normally like to do. Not a lot going on. Free agency. Definitely David Moore. Not the most dynamic, not the greatest, not the best, but dependable. A handful of times this season in the crunch. So a good signing to bring back a familiar player, somebody that's familiar with the scheme, and can come in and be a role player when needed. So pretty decent signing. Same goes for safety. Nick Scott was a big time special teams player. We talked about before. Carolina had 4 safeties going into free agency. Expected to see at least one of them probably get re-signed. Sam Franklin, I think, is still sitting out there too. So hey, there's the off chance he might get re-signed. I think a little bit better, especially in game. They're playing safety. Nick's got maybe a little bit more of a special teams signing here. So both guys re-signed with the Panthers, coming back for another season. Be good to see them back out on the field again. We're only, I think, today's the 24th. I think we're 4 weeks away from the draft. Like I said, I'd like to get into talking a little bit more about that, but I'm going to hold off on that till next week. Might free up a little bit more time and talk about that. But as for the Panthers, I think we're going to wrap it up this week and get moving on. We are going to talk a little bit Carolina Hurricanes. Yeah, are we? Yes, we are. And the streak that they've been on. So had a great do this correct next time, and then instead of screwing it up like I just did. All right, next Hurricanes we're on a 7-game tear. Oh no, sorry, 8-game tear. With some pretty big wins coming before they were finally slowed down by the LA Kings. They shattered that streak, beating the Hurricanes 7-2 out in LA. And that Seth Jarvis suffered what turned out to probably be a minor, but head injury in the third period. He left after that. But Carolina had a great bounce back game just down the road in Anaheim. I like to tease my wife from time to time about Anaheim and Los Angeles. She's from Los Angeles, and we always joke about I joke about, I think she takes it a little more seriously, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And she's like, no, they're the Anaheim Angels. Anaheim, Los Angeles, two very different cities, even though they are completely the same thing and just merged right into each other, smashing right up in there. But the Hurricanes took their game down the road to Anaheim, a completely different city, and had a completely different outcome. They smashed Anaheim 5-2. Mark Jankowski, again, pick up from Nashville, has been on the team for what was it, 6 weeks now, I think, and has scored 5 goals. So he is paying dividends in a big way. Got things going with the first goal. Let me see if I got that right. Yeah, Jankowski. Oh, 6th goal for Jankowski since joining the Hurricanes. And then Jordan Martinook also scored. He had the go-ahead goal, kind of a back and forth to start off pretty silent in the first period, then a back and forth in the second period with Jankowski scoring that first goal. The Ducks responding with the goal, and sure if I'm recording. There we are. 6th hat trick, career hat trick by scoring goals in the third period. Assist from Seth Jarvis, who we just mentioned. So he was back in the lineup and playing well. And then he got put another goal in, and then followed that up less than a minute later with his third goal into an empty net. The Ducks, they're in the final last gasp attempt to tie it up or with the empty net, pulling the goalie in the empty net. So Carolina Hurricanes seem to be back in the W column with that. Very demonstrative win there for them and gets them heading back in the right direction. They're still pretty far back from Washington, though, in the Metropolitan Division, but very solid, very solidly in second place. Should have I don't want to say it's easy, but should be able to make the playoffs. Likely as number 2 seed out of the Metropolitan Division, and have a go. Should have a pretty good go in the playoffs. I know they're really hoping for a deep run. If not, actually, I'm hoping to win the cup outright. It's still going to be tough. Like I said, Washington is up pretty high on them right now. They've got 102 points to Carolina's 90. They are at 47 and 15. Carolina's behind them 43 and 23. And so definitely strong team there in Washington. It's going to be difficult to catch up with them, obviously, in the regular season is going to be difficult to get past them in the playoffs. And then on the other side, you got Vegas sitting at 42-20 with 92 points. So it's going to be a difficult playoff there. Let's see. And then you got the Winnipeg Jets also with a great record, 48-19. Although part of this win streak that the Hurricanes are on right now included a win over the Jets, so that's looking pretty good for them. And then Florida Panthers are still in form from last year, 43-25. So, like I said, it's going to be a stretch coming down here, 3 more weeks, I think, to close out the regular season. And then let's see, so that's going to start off with hosting the Nashville Predators on the 25th at 7 p.m. And then a race to the end of the season and into the playoffs where things are going to get really hard for them. So let's hope that they can keep things going and have a good closeout to the season there. All right, next up, talk some Charlotte Hornets. Not quite as good a story over here. Charlotte had, let's see, pretty rough go as of late. They lost to Oklahoma City Thunder 106-141, getting blown out again there. But then they turned around and beat the Knicks in New York 115-98. Ball led scorers there. Charlotte scores there with 25 points. Williams, who we've talked about before, with not passing that physical by LA, was playing well. Scored 19 points, and then Miles Bridges, followed that up, backed that up with 15 points of his own. Not his best, and certainly not the streak he had been on for about 5 or 6 games here, a few games back, but still good effort, good solid effort to help to chip in with the team and help push them to that win over the Knicks. Then they turned around, got blown out by the Atlanta Hawks, 134-102. So not very. Did I get those backwards? Oh well. Also, Atlanta Hawks 134-102, and then went down to Miami. In their most recent game. I think they have had a pretty good shot at this game, and through the first half they kind of did. Miami was on a 10-game losing streak, and for the first half, our Charlotte led through most of the first half, well over half of the first, and then these first 2 quarters. And then Miami, right before the half closed out, charged up, shut down Charlotte scoring, took the lead at halftime and never relinquished it. Charlotte was up by as much as 12 points, then got down by as many as 20. Came back a little bit in the fourth quarter, but it really was just too little too late to go at that point. I mean, got to within 18 points. Just got below the 20-point margin, and managed to finish out there. Was that 17-point game to finish it off. This loss officially eliminates the Hornets from postseason. I don't think anybody here or really there had any illusions that they would make a run to the postseason. But now, if there was any question or hope before, that has been officially destroyed, and they are eliminated from the postseason and can start thinking about what they're going to do in the offseason to continue to build this team we talked about before. Early on, what is this now, March? December, was it? We were talking about this where December, January, and Charlotte started making a bunch of moves. Tried that Williams trade, and had another trade where they were able to start picking up some really good draft capital for this next draft, but also the draft after in particular. I mentioned too, like it was interesting for me coming from an NFL background, more about paying attention more to the NFL and getting starting to get into the NBA, where how far ahead you could trade for draft picks. And Charlotte was really stocking up, especially on a lot of those future draft picks. But still looking to build here in the next couple of drafts. So we'll see what they start to do. Hopefully they don't just completely tank at this point. I don't know what tanking does for you in the NBA, but it's a pretty. I think it's a pretty lousy thing to do, even in the NFL too, where you get these like teams where, I was supposedly and hopefully them actively try to lose, but they really, some of them you can tell it just almost not in their best interest to win games, so they can try to get those higher picks. Don't want to see that from this team. Want to see them continue to fight. I heard a really interesting proposition once you get about 3/4 way, you really like have a handful of the teams eliminated, or even like at the end of the season, and you take like the bottom 4 or 5, like 4 or 6 teams, and let them have a playoff to see who gets the number 1 seed. So that way, it's not just the outright worst team that gets that number 1 seed. You have the 6 worst teams, and you make them compete in like vie for that number 1 seed. So instead of instead of being able to just like lose a bunch of games and secure that seed, now you got to actually play and fight to win, and show that you're improving your team and making them better, and getting that number 1 seed or number 2, like one of those top seeds, will actually be going to a team that's working on improving and bettering themselves. I thought it was a pretty interesting concept. So I don't know. Maybe we could see something like that one day. I doubt it though. I don't think players on losing teams want to keep playing more games and risking being beat up. Charlotte's next game will be back home. That's tomorrow night, 7 p.m. against the Orlando Magic. Should be an interesting game there. And hopefully, like I said, we see them continue to try to fight, and not just start to concede wins. All right. Next up, let's talk. What were we saying at 24? Well, we're clipping right along. All right. I'm going to talk a little bit about my new favorite team, I think. Really getting into this now is the Charlotte FC. Watched this game the other night, came on at Charlotte. I feel like they've had a pretty good run of hosting games here over the last couple weeks, but I think they got to host Atlanta, and then they went to Miami, and then they hosted Cincinnati, and now they've hosted San Jose. And what a game this was. Charlotte for the first 4 games now have been, and I heard this a lot during the game, and I absolutely agree with it. First 4 games really been like the second half team where the defense is really good and really strong through the first half. Not a lot of offense gets generated. They might, have a couple of moments, get a couple of looks here or there, but for the most part, it's the defense that holds the other team in check through the first half. And then once you get into the second half, they kind of come out with a little bit more offensive intensity. Maybe they've worn down the other team a little bit with their defense, and kind of kept their forward strikers. They've paced them through the first half, and so when they come out in the second half, those guys are a little bit fresher. They got some better legs on them, and they're able to press the other team a little bit. And you've seen some really good offense out of Charlotte in the second half. Well, this game was a little bit different. Charlotte came out hard and fast right from the get-go and scored 3 unanswered in the first half here. The first one coming from Pep Biel with a great move down the middle. Just a really wonderful goal. And then the next one coming from Westwood. Wesley had a great goal there. I think it was, I can't remember if it was Zaha or not, came down with a shot. It was deflected. Charlotte winger came in on the right, on the near side, was able to collect it in front of the goal and then get it back, or collect it just kind of in front of the goal, get it back to Wesley as the defender closed in on him. And as soon as it got back to Wesley, he settled it down real quick and a nice side foot right into the goal. Beautiful play, beautiful example of my son plays soccer, and we tell him, we screaming at the other kids playing, like, get in there and follow up shots, because folks take shots and the goalie's able to stop it, but then now the goalie's down and he's out of position, and unless the other team's defenders are really getting in there, getting after it, you've got the opportunity now, if you're crashing with your own team, to get in there and just shove it in, like just bully the wall in. And sure enough, this is exactly what Westwood did here. Got the ball in nicely, and then followed that up from Bernico with a really nice goal as well. And then finally in the second half, pretty sure second half, Vargas with a really nice score on the far side, just took a nice pass across the pitch and settled it down, ran it in, past the defender, took a great angle, and just punched it right home. Really nice score from him. And Charlotte was all over San Jose in this one. It's a lot of fun to watch, especially if you're a little bit newer to soccer. I mean, I've been watching soccer for quite a while, so I'm not like newer to it. I'm new to Charlotte FC. Obviously, they've only been around for a couple of years, and then just with my living overseas for a while, now finally getting back to the States and finally able to get on the right time to be able to watch them. I'm getting into them. I've been in soccer for a little while, so I'm comfortable. I'm good with watching like a 1-0 game or 2-1 game, but when you get these 4-1 games, man, they are so exciting, and they're great, because they bring in more fans, they bring in more viewers, and of course that helps generate a lot of buzz, and that gets a lot of things going. And once you see that kind of excitement and see that kind of support building up behind the team, the ownership gets more excited about supporting the team, and they're more invested in getting money and investing. They're more committed to They're more committed to investing in the team, and you end up getting to really grow and develop a team from that. And I think you're seeing that with Charlotte FC. I've been honestly really surprised, but surprised in a great way, about how well Charlotte's been doing with this soccer team. I know a lot of people are kind of bitter about the fact that they're doing so well when the Panthers are struggling so hard. And so when you compare it to that, yeah, it's kind of a kick in the shins, But at the same time, it's also really exciting. If you grew up enjoying soccer, I kind of grew up enjoying soccer. Really got into it with the World Cup back in, I think it was 98 was when I really started getting into it. And if you've been watching it since then and been excited and enjoyed playing it, to see this happening and to see this kind of growing in North Carolina, in the Carolinas, you're excited. You feel really great about it. And to see how it's coming along, how people are in the stands, they're pumped up, and just really glad to see this kind of enthusiasm. Last year, Carolina had a great defense, or Charlotte, had a great defense. Had you'll hear it every match, the number one goalie in the league, and so they played really well. But at times they struggled for offense and struggled to produce goals. It looks like at this point in the season, they may be starting to get over that and really put together a strong offensive package and start scoring some goals. I think bringing in Zaha has a lot to do with that. You saw in his first game against Atlanta, he had an assist and he had a goal. The man of the match there, really took it away. He hasn't had that kind of success since then, but he has had some really good shots. He had a pair of really strong shots on goal for this game. But I think what he has done is drawn the attention and drawn the focus of opposing teams. And that goes a long way to opening up these guys like Beal and Westwood and Vargas so they can get in and close in for some goals. But then what you see here too with that and with that added offense and like this, generating this kind of enthusiasm is Charlotte is creeping up the rankings now. They're number 2 in the standings. Say 3-1-1. They've got let's see what's +6 goal differential. You have what was it? I think they scored 10 and allowed 4, which is fantastic. The Philadelphia Union are the only ones higher. They're 4-0-1. But they've got the same goal differential with at +6, but they've given up 6. So scored 6 and given up 6. So Charlotte has scored 6 as well, but they are giving up fewer goals. So I personally would rather have that going on. And you see them doing the same thing in the power rankings. They are up. If you check ESPN's power rankings, they're up to number 3 in the power rankings behind Inter Miami, which not 100% sure how they could still be behind Inter Miami, but Inter Miami is right behind them in the standings. And then the Vancouver Whitecaps are just in front of Charlotte in the power rankings. So you got Inter Miami, Vancouver, and then Charlotte at number 3 in the power rankings, making their way up there. It's just a lot of fun to see a team that like represents where you're from and is new and exciting, and they're doing so well. And Charlotte FC are definitely doing that. And looking forward to the rest of the season. Hoping to see them back in the playoffs by the end of it. I know they're hoping for the same thing and get a little bit further than their first round exit from last year. All right, we're going to take a little bit of a break here. Listen to a couple of drops from some of our other shows, and then we will be back to talk about who we want to talk about. The NCAA tournament sounds about right. All right, we'll see you in a few minutes.
Hey sports fans, are you in the market for Florida sports or just keeping up with the latest in the Panhandle? Palm Tree Sports is a dedicated audio hub to all things sports in the Sunshine State. We cover current events, big news, heavily favored opinions all across the NFL, NBA, MLB, and so much more. So come check us out every Saturday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a down south education on Florida sports and athletics. It's hosted by yours truly, Corey Pujols, and is powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
The roar of the crowd, the drama and pageantry, the adrenaline rush and decadence of the world of professional wrestling. Join yours truly, the SoCal Saint, for the best pro wrestling podcast going today, the IE Wrestling Show, exclusively on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Join us every Wednesday from 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, every Wednesday, the IE Wrestling Show. It's just too woo!
right, welcome back, everybody. Let's get into a little bit. Yeah, look good. All right. Let's talk a little bit NCAA tournament and how things are going there. We'll kick it off first with the men's bracket. Things started off fairly well for the most part. Definitely started off really well for UNC. They were able to get that play-in bid. A lot of people really hated the fact they were really, really angry. Social media, even just the regular media, absolutely hated the fact that UNC got a bid at all, much less, especially even though if it was just a play-in bid. Oh my God, yeah. All right, sorry. Even with it being a play-in bid, there's a lot of hate and discontent out there. But UNC did get it. They were posted up against San Diego State, my wife's alma mater, and we were up for it to watch the game. And it went 100% UNC's way. Some incredible stats to take away for Carolina on this one. Field goal percentage, the 52, 3-point percentage, almost 60%, led by RJ Davis, who was 6 of 6 on his 3-pointers. Free throws, 87%. But here, I think, was one of the main kickers that really spurred UNC's run that got them going in the first half and kept it going, especially in the first half, was the rebounds. Now, 39-28 overall. Here's a big one. 29 defensive rebounds for Carolina to San Diego State's 9 offensive rebounds. So, not a super big math genius here. But that I'm figuring that's out of 38 missed shots. UNC pulled back 29 of those. And prevented San Diego State from getting a second chance on 29 of 38 missed shots. So it sucks when you miss a shot to begin with, but when you're not getting a second chance on it, that's when it really hurts you. And that's where I've talked about this. UNC teams of old, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, would have such a dominant presence down low that if they took a shot and they missed it, they were getting the rebounds and getting that second chance shot. And it was usually down low and a higher percentage shot. So you had that backup and you had that ability to go ahead and take more shots because you knew you had a higher probability of getting a rebound because you had bigger, more physical players down low. We have not seen that from the majority of this season, which is why I had talked about before, with this team, you're going to see these fits and spurts where when the shots are dropping, they're going to dominate people. And you're going to get these high teens and almost 20-point wins, but these really strong double-digit wins. But if the shots aren't falling because they don't have the presence down low that they have in the past, they're not going to get the rebounds, and they're not going to be able to switch to a game where they just pound it low and try to dominate there over competition. We saw that a lot against Duke in particular, where when the shots started dropping for them in the second half against Duke at UNC, they were able to close the gap and even get up by a few points. But then once they went cold, they were not able to take care of business down low because Duke is such a strong team down low this year. And Duke took the game back over and ended up winning by double figures. And so you've seen that throughout the season where, when UNC's shooting is cold, their game is terrible and they're not able to get in it. And sure enough, you saw that in the very next round of 64 against Ole Miss, where in the first half, the shooting was not there. Shots were not dropping. They got down by 24 points. Again, dug themselves a huge hole. Some of it, too, was honestly looking and seeing how things went for him in the first half was honestly standing around and not playing defense. And when you do that, yeah, you're going to get blown out. And, the final score, I think it was only a 6-point game, maybe 8-point game. Where'd it go? Lost to Ole Miss. Yeah, 7-point game. 7-point loss to Ole Miss. But, down by as much as 24. Yeah, they fought back in. They closed it to within 2 points with the RJ Davis free throw. But then 0 points over the final minute of the game, which is when Ole Miss during that time was able to put up 5 more points and seal the win and shut UNC down and basically prove all the haters right and add a little more fuel to the fire for them to be there in the first place. But again, another team now looking to the postseason, seeing what they're going to do. A lot of questions for the roster. A lot of folks probably pretty decent shot to enter transfer portal. They'll definitely be looking themselves. They've got a decent class coming in. Caleb Wilson was a top 10 recruit, so he'll be a lot more electric and help out. He's a little bit bigger, probably a little thin, but a little bit taller down low, so he'll be able to help out down there. But provide a little bit of presence down there. But we'll see how things go for Carolina in this offseason. I know a lot of people wondering if Trimble, Cadeau, Powell, if those guys will be back. I know a lot of people would love to. I would love to see Trimble come back. I think he's said as much that he would love to come back, but he also followed it up with, he's going to have to, like every player, when it comes time, evaluate where he's at and what's best. So hopefully what's best is staying here in Carolina, seeing who comes in and working with them to get back into it next year and hopefully pick up a couple of down low, strong post players to help them out. All right, moving on from there. It's gone pretty much chalk for Duke so far. They have destroyed the competition, not doing what some people have come to expect from some previous Duke teams when they have a lot of talent and kind of flub it against lower seeds. Smashed Mount St. Mary's 93-49. Then followed it up with a commanding win over the 9 seed Baylor 89-66. So they are kind of picking up where they left off in the regular season. Destroying good but not great teams. We'll see how it goes from here. They've got Arizona up next. That's March 27th. So 3 days, and it'll be a late game, 9:39. Duke obviously favored in that. I think Arizona will give them a little bit more of a problem, but fully expect to see a Duke win there. Not so chalk after that was Clemson, who played wannabe Cinderella McNeese and lost to them 67-69. Again, another game where kind of like Carolina, for some inexplicable reason, Clemson came out completely flat in the first half. Don't know what was going on with them. Scored 13 points in the first half against McNeese. That's just, I can't explain like how you can come into the NCAA tournament and especially when you're Clemson, you've had this season that they've had, you've played the way that they've played, and to kind of put that kind of effort into the first half and only score 13 points. It's really difficult to fathom, but sure enough, they did, and they turned it back on in the second half, but it just was not nearly good. It wasn't good enough, and they ended up losing 67-69, like I said. And Clemson, number 5 seed Clemson, is knocked out by the 12th seed. You see 12 seeds take out 5 seeds every year, and Clemson falls victim to that. So they too will be looking to see what goes on in the postseason. See who they can see if they look into the transfer portal and move on from there and try to repeat next year, what they were able to do this year. Again, best ACC record that they've had ever, and really good run. Well, yeah, really good run through the regular season, but I don't think their postseason lived nearly up to their expectations. They lost to Louisville in the ACC tournament. I think they would have expected to have won that game and challenged Duke for the championship, the ACC championship, but they weren't able to do that. And then follow that loss to Louisville up with that loss to McNeese, who I say want to be Cinderella because then they went on to play Purdue and lost by 14 points. Of note, McNeese head coach Will Wade will be is slated, should be the next head coach for NC State. So we'll keep an eye on that. Wait to see when that gets finalized. I don't think it's been finalized yet, so we'll wait to see how that goes. Let's see if I can. No, that's my screen. I'm sorry. I'm trying to see if I can reduce the glare a little bit, but my glasses are just what they are. All right. We'll wait to see that gets finalized and NC State picks up their new head coach, Will Wade, who again just led McNeese against Clemson to a victory. So let's see. And then apparently the equipment manager, Ari, the Aura, will be coming along with him as well. First equipment manager to get an NIL deal, who likes to bring in a lot of pomp and circumstance for his teams. All right, we had some other teams here in the men's bracket. Some teams who got in. High Point, they were 13 seed. We talked about them. Played Purdue, and also obviously lost 63 to 75. So, honestly, same score McNeese. It's McNeese almost identical. And then, but they held it close, to be perfectly honest. With just over 7.5 left in the game, it was a 3-point game. So High Point didn't just get run out of the building. They kept it pretty close. It was a 12-point game in the end. It definitely kept it close through the first half. Trading back and forth in the opening minutes. Purdue got ahead right before the half, but High Point did close it back up. And like I said, with just over 7.5 minutes to go, Purdue closed out the game, shut down High Point. High Point went on went cold, went a couple minutes, went on 2.5 minute stretches there where they scored no points, and Purdue was able to take advantage and open up the lead and seal that win. But then you had on the opposite side, UNC Wilmington playing the number 14 seed UNC Wilmington playing the number 3 seed Texas Tech. Also lost 10-point game here, 72-82. But let's see, this was an interesting game for sure. UNC Wilmington got down pretty big, 16 in the first half, but then rallied, taking advantage of a about 3 or 4 minutes scoreless run by Texas Tech. Got it to within a couple points at the half, and even went up, I think, by a point in the second half. Yeah. Closed out the half, and they went up by 1 in the second half, and then traded back and forth through most of the second half. And with about 7 minutes left to go, it was a 3-point game. Texas Tech was finally able to kind of temper UNC Wilmington and themselves, put enough in to pull away and earn that 10-point win. But man, that was an earned 10-point win. That was not an easy win for Texas Tech. All right, next up, we got the the NCAA women's tournament. Pretty chalky so far here, for being honest. We've got South Carolina doing South Carolina women's basketball things, taking down their first 2 games. First one against Tennessee Tech, the 16th seed, defeating them 108-48. So pretty dominant win for them there. And then against the 9th seed, Indiana, 64-53. So 11-point game, not nearly the same kind of blowout, but still handling business. And they will be in the Sweet 16 and will face off against the winner of Alabama and Maryland, which is going on right now. And I will work on getting a score update here in a second. They're in the third period. They're in the third quarter. Maryland or Alabama, 5th seed, is up 50-45. Still plenty of game left in that to see who gets to face off against South Carolina in the Sweet 16. Following them, you have Duke playing Lehigh. I chuckled last week about this matchup as the men's team played Lehigh several years ago in the opening round and lost. Not to be this time. The number 2 seed Duke obliterates the number 15 seed Lehigh. And this is one of those ones where, honestly, you look at the box score and you really do wonder, what business Lehigh had doing in this. And, you could almost make an argument for shrinking down the number of teams in the tournament. So Lehigh, 25 points in the entire game. Duke had 29 points in the fourth quarter. So in the fourth quarter alone, Duke outscored Lehigh overall. Lehigh's quarter totals were 8-2, 2 points in the second quarter, 7 and 8. That is a massive defense by Duke. If you thought UNC men against San Diego State was a blowout of a game, this is just absolute dominance. This is something, too, that, gets preached a lot in basketball. Defense leads to scoring. You don't have to focus only on scoring. You don't have to focus on, your offense. If you play really sound, really tight defense, it will lead to scoring. It leads to turnovers. It leads to defensive rebounds. And it leads to breakaways. And that just leads to scoring. And when you're doing that and you're getting the buckets to fall and for those that kind of defense and those turnovers, and you're preventing them, that's how you pull those games out and you pull away real quick. And that's what Duke did here against Lehigh. And you've got further down, let's see, NC State. They also, Duke followed that up with a slightly closer game against Oregon, winning this one 59-53. Sure, pull up that double tab. A little bit closer here, actually a lot closer here, really back and forth. Oregon actually led through most of the first half before Duke rallied right before halftime, closed the gap, and then able to take over the lead in the third quarter. Held the lead throughout the entire third quarter, got into the fourth, started trading some baskets with Oregon, who crept it back in. Couple of ties. Duke managed to stay on top and close it out right at the end, gained the 6-point win over Oregon so they can move on to the Sweet 16, where they will meet the winner of UNC and West Virginia. UNC defeating Oregon State in the opening round. Number 3 seed North Carolina defeating the 14th seed Oregon State 70-49 to open up their tournament play. Great win, very solid win there before they moved on to face West Virginia in the second round. They play tonight at 7 p.m. So in half an hour, folks, UNC women will be going up against West Virginia for a chance to get to the Sweet 16 and a rematch against the number 2 seed Duke. They split this regular season. So really looking forward to this rematch to see if UNC can take down Duke and make it to the Elite Eight after that. But first, got focus, beat West Virginia. They had a pretty handy win against Columbia, 78-59. So 19 points there, pretty easy win for them. So we've got to make sure we're locked in, ready to take on and take down West Virginia. NC State already has punched their ticket to the Sweet 16. They opened the tournament against the 15th seed Vermont with a 20-point win, 75-55. Then went on to play the 7th seed Michigan State, beat them 83-49. So they've been dominating as well, playing lights out. And now they will face the winner of Florida State and LSU in the Sweet 16. And that should be, especially, let's see, right now you got, last check, LSU is up 31-24 in the first quarter. That is a high-scoring quarter. A lot of offense going on in that game. But NC State, as demonstrated, has a lot of offense as well. So that should be an exciting matchup to see NC State take on here the winner of LSU and Florida State in this Week 16. Had a couple other Carolina folks. High Point had a play-in game as well, but they unfortunately lost to William & Mary 63-69. And UNC Greensboro, they were the 16th seed going up against the number 1 seed USC. USC, another very lopsided loss. USC wins that one 71-25 over UNCG. Again, another one of these where 25 points. USC had 25 points in the third quarter, and UNCG had 25 points total. Really tough to see those kinds of games going on. All right, I think that will wrap it up for our tournament play. It is still going on. We're right in the middle of the action now. Just a quick recap. Men's side of the ball, Duke is it. It's up to Duke now. Clemson's out. UNC's out. High Point. UNCW. The Carolinas. Meanwhile, on the women's side, women are kicking rear end. I think I can swear on here. South Carolina representing well. Duke, NC State, all representing well, punching their tickets to the Sweet 16. Now it's just up to UNC to keep it going, take down West Virginia for that final Carolina's team spot in the Sweet 16. All right, we're going to take another quick break to listen for a couple more drops, and then we will come back and wrap it up with a little bit of spring ball action. Stick around, and we will see you back here.
It's IE Sports Radio. It is your direct feed for all that is sports. It is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris every Tuesday night right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris is the most comprehensive view on Philadelphia sports exclusively right here on IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tuesday night, IE Sports Radio, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris.
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernick, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, everybody, welcome back for the last segment. We are just going to end up doing kind of a quick recap here for spring ball. But as I've mentioned before, as we wrap up and get out of the basketball season, we'll get a little bit, hopefully, deeper into our baseball talks. Excuse me, oh my gosh. A little bit deeper into baseball talks and be able to focus in on what's going on here instead of just giving like these quick recaps. But we're running out of time, so we'll just talk real quick. Some baseball. So let's see. Clemson has been killing it. They are sitting now at number 6 in the top 25, playing really well. They have a 23-3 overall record. They're 4-2 in the ACC, so doing well there. And just took a 2-1 series win over Wake Forest. So that really great momentum for Clemson. If you remember, they started off the season in the teens, worked their way up through the teens, and now they are sitting really nice up at number 6. Speaking of Wake Forest, they had a pretty good start. They had gotten themselves up, I think, to number 11. Was one of their highest rankings. They have slipped recently, are down to number 16 at this point. They have a 19-6 overall record. They are 7-2 in the ACC, and that's after that series loss to Clemson, 1-2. But still a good series there. Great battle in the ACC in the Carolinas, and looking forward to more matchups like that down the road. And then following them, our next ranked team is UNC. At one point, up to number 6 themselves, but a series of really tough losses, especially in the ACC, where they're not doing so well, to be perfectly honest. They now sit at number 21. They are 18-6 overall. They have a 4-5 record in the ACC, but that is a bit of an uptick as they beat Boston College in the 3-game series 2-1. So a little bit of a trend in a good direction, especially in their third and final game that they won 10-0. So like I said, hopefully continue to follow these guys, or not continue, but hopefully we'll be able to get into this a little bit more and follow this a little bit more in depth. Start highlighting some players, calling some folks out, and talk through the games. And like I said before, my last one, we'll try, instead of just giving these like recaps. I know we just did that for the tournament, but it's so big. So much going on. But we'll try to actually I'll try to just like actually talk some commentary and like some thoughts on what's going on instead of just giving you guys, a box score recap, which I'm sure none of you tune in just to hear the box score that you could look up on ESPN and find out in 5 minutes anyway. All right, and then we'll switch it over now. Let's see. Oh, and then finally, unfortunately, Coastal Carolina, they've gotten up to number 24. They've dropped out of the top 25. They're 17-7, but they are 4-2 in the Sun Belt, conference, but they dropped a 3-game series against Troy, 1-2. And like I said, they're now out of the top 25. All right, last but not least, softball, where again, South Carolina has been playing some stellar softball, really good sports team, women's sports teams down there in South Carolina. They are sitting at number 10. They're 24-6 overall, 2-4 in the SEC, which is kind of weird to have such a strong record, but then 2-4 in the SEC. And then follow that up, they just had a good series, 2-1 against Texas Tech. So playing strong. Their next up will be Clemson, followed by LSU this next weekend. And then the last team, the only other team the Carolinas have ranked right in the top 25 is Duke. Yep, Duke ranked in top 25. Last team ranked in top 25. They are sitting at number 13. They are 21-11. They're dead even 4-4 in the ACC, but they did just have, and that's after a 3-game sweep against Florida State. So they are on the upswing. They've got Louisville next, and North Carolina in the not too distant future, first weekend of April, they will be playing UNC, who, despite being 25-8 and 6-3 in the ACC, are not ranked in the top 25. I don't know if that comes down to things like the strength of schedule and the teams that they're playing, but they are, like I said, 6-3 in the ACC, playing teams like Clemson. They split Louisville. They took down Pittsburgh. They took down with the sweep. So playing some good games. We'll see what happens when they get matched up against Duke and play them. I'll be able to follow these teams through to the end of April and see how things go for all that. Let's see. Yeah, I guess this is, like I said, we'll get into this some more. We'll deep dive into these teams a lot more once the NCAA tournament wraps up, and we can focus in on some spring sports a little bit more. Got good stuff. Hopefully, can get some good info on gymnastics. I think tennis starts up, lacrosse going as well. I don't want to overlook those sports, but really, we're already at 1:08. I already started a half hour late, so I am going to wrap it up there, folks. And there we go. Go ahead and wrap it up there, folks. Get your brackets in, or get your updated brackets in. I think mine's doing okay. Competing against the IE Sports family here. Take a quick peek. And then also competing against my fantasy football league. I've been in the top half so far, so hopefully that continues for me, and hopefully you guys are having a good go of it as well. Let's see what we got. Yeah, third and fourth place in the IE Sports Radio. So not too bad. Not the number one spot, but not too bad. All right, you guys, enjoy the rest of your week and enjoy some good college basketball.